What's up? This is Sean Allen again. We're gonna get started today. Now what I'm doing right here, I just jumped right into it. I'm balding out with my Babyliss Pros FX, the liner version, of course. Now what I'm doing is taking my Babyliss Pros with a number 1, and I'm moving up about an inch because I want to give myself room for the fade. And while I'm going up an inch with the 1, I'm using my wrist. So at the top, you see me kind of flick it out. I'm not just doing a harsh line. And one thing I noticed about his hair, he had gappy hair, I say, like spaces in his hair. So a lot of times that can be difficult for a barber, especially when you first starting out, that you need to have a certain technique to make sure it still look blended right. So what I'm doing is I took the guard off. Now I'm at the first demarcation line and I'm going up about a ½ an inch. And I'm still using my wrist and I'm flicking it out and I'm still in my fade motion. So as you can see, I'm going all the way around the head because I like to go all the way around the head, like back and forth, because I can have the same flow all the way around the head. Same type of fade on both sides. So as you can see, I just try to get the camera real close so you can see what I'm doing. I'm taking the first demarcation line a little out. You still can kind of see it, but I'm just loosening it up. But at the same time, I'm getting rid of all them little dark spots because like I said earlier, he have gappy hair. So I have to just flick out all them little dark spots around the first demarcation line and all the way up a little bit. And as you can see, my thumb, I'm adjusting. I pull my lever back when I go all the way up, but then I put my lever close when I'm on the first demarcation line. So you can see it right there. You see that dark spot right there. And I scoot up and I just focus on that one little bitty dark spot, flick that out. So I'm looking all around the head, finding dark spots around the first demarcation line. So yeah, I pointed to it so I can show you. So it won't just look like I'm just cutting over and over again the same spot. I'm not. I'm actually going on one side of the clipper, tipping it on the other side of the clipper, pulling the lever up and back, forth, down, just so I can get that blend that I want, because I like a certain blend technique. I like a certain flow with my haircuts. Gotta have that finesse. So that's why you're seeing it. And this video is going to be a little longer because I'm just really breaking down what I'm doing. So I'm just taking my time with this fade because I want it to be right. And another thing, certain clients have like certain dig-in spots of their hair. A barber know what I'm talking about. Like you can see right where my clipper is, he got a line right there, but that's his natural skin. That's his natural. It's like all around the head is not even. That's what I'm trying to say. Each spot is not even, so you have to cut a certain way on each spot. So that's why you seeing me just doing all type of stuff with my Babyliss Pros. I'm just flicking this area, then I might take it a little closer on just one spot, because at the end of the day, you want everything to look the same. You want your fade to look the same. You don't want to have a fade that's all over the place. Side note, make sure that your fades are very organized. Have some organization with your fades, because I know a lot of times us barbers that we can fade and we can do everything that we need to do with the haircut. But then I ask a question like, do you know what you did? Are you organized? Did you take the proper steps to get the same results every time? Sometimes you can't answer that. So that's why I'm telling you that. Now moving on to a number one with my 5-star seniors now. Now I know I use a Babyliss Pro and I put the number one guard on that one. With the 5-star seniors, it gives me a different cut and it gives me a different level. Even though it's a number one, it could be a little higher than a regular number one, if that makes sense. So that's why sometimes I might use a different clipper but have the same guard, because it's giving me a different texture of cut, and it might be higher. It might just be higher, as you can see. So I'm just really going up past the one that I did with the Babyliss Pros, if that's making sense to you guys. So you're seeing it. So I'm not really digging into it, but I'm using my corners on my 5-star seniors, cordless. And I'm pushing the lever up when I go higher, and I'm pushing it close when I go to that second demarcation line that you see. So once again, I'm working out all them dark spots. That's what I'm doing. I'm blending. I'm like, all right, that part look dark. Because my goal is to make every single part of his haircut look exactly the same. So if it's bald, it look the same. So if I have no guard, it look the same. And then I jump to a number one, and then in that section, it looks the same. That's what I mean when I say organization. So now I done went right back. I done went right back to my Babyliss without no guard, because I've seen some more dark spots when I start using the number one. Y'all can see that. Now all I'm doing is detail work. I'm looking at all these dark spots and I'm like, okay, I gotta get them out, but I have to be careful. That's why I'm using the edges. I'm using the corners of the clipper, and I'm cutting a certain angle just to make sure that I don't cut too much hair, because I want the fade to look a certain way. So that's why you're seeing me just angle my clippers in all type of ways. Now, what I'm doing right there, I'm showing you the different ways that I can fade without using a guard. So when I'm close, I'm taking more hair, but when I go up, then I'm taking less, but I'm blending in a way. Because sometimes you need in-between guards that you don't have, and you just need a little bit extra adjustment on a lever, or you just need just that little bit just to make that fade right. So what you do is you tilt your clippers up and you still flick it out, but you gotta play with the hair. After you do your steps, after you take the first and second and third and fourth demarcation line, whatever you're doing, you have to go right back through it and do detail work. That's what I mean when I say I tilt the clippers. So as you can see on this video, I'm really explaining, I'm taking my time, because what I'm doing is getting you to understand that it's more than just taking out demarcation lines. It's about the quality and the detail work that it takes to get the fade that you desire. So like I said, he have different spaces in his head, so I have to cut his hair a different way, which means I'm very careful. I'm making sure I'm very cautious about where I'm cutting, because I have to cut certain parts of the hair to give the illusion that the fade is just a regular fade. Because some people, you can do the demarcation line real quick and then it just look right, but some people hair, you have to really put in detail work. So that's what I mean. I know I'm talking a lot, but I'm back to my 5-star seniors cordless, and what I'm doing is the same type of technique but just on a higher level. I took my number one guard and I'm going a little bit higher, and I'm taking out the dark spots on a higher level where the second demarcation line is. So as you can see that I'm just looking and I'm skipping over parts. That's a part that you can't really see. It just looked like I'm just cutting all over the place. But what I'm doing is I'm skipping some parts to make every single part of the hair look exactly the same. Because as you can see, when I step back, you can see certain little grooves and little lines in his head where his skin go in. So you have to cut more in those certain areas, but it needs to look the same. Just like you see me point to it. See, look, I'm pointing to it, and I went back to my Babyliss Pros because I needed to go a little bit lower than the one, back down. So what you're seeing is towards the end of my video, all I'm doing is detail work. I'm doing whatever it takes to get this cut right. That's why you seeing me. I'm just saying, hey, I know you got rules and steps and everything, but sometimes at the barber, you got to go in there and put in the work. You got to do everything you need to do to get that cut exactly how you want it. See, I have a vision in my head about how I want this cut to look. And I'm like, hey, all right, by any means necessary, I'm going to get this fade right. So as you can see, I'm just using my corners. I'm adjusting my lever. The higher I go, I pull my lever back. The lower I go, I pull my lever forward. So now I'm back to, once again, I'm back to my 5-star seniors, but I'm in a different area in the front. See, I'm watching that part that I pointed to because it's a little light. So I cut down the heavier bulk of the hair a little bit more. That's why you see me switch back to my Babyliss Pros because it has no guard. And as you can see, I'm tilting my clippers up. So I won't take too much, but I still need in between the one and no guard. I needed that in between flow. So now you see it's line up time. So all of these detail work is preparing me to give a excellent lineup. It's not just the clippers. It's not about how sharp your liners are, but it's about the detail work before. Now you see me flip my liners and take that first demarcation line out. Which a lot of times that be the hard part to get out. Side note, if you never put a line in, you never got to take a line out. That's why when I'm balding out a lot of times, I flip my liners the opposite way and form a line because it's a weaker line to start the fade. So when you get finished with all your blending, it's easier to take that first demarcation line out because you never put a harsh line. Because some people put a sharp line all around the head and you got to scrub and do everything you need to do and get it out later. And you don't have that much time when you have a clientele, and that's real. All right, what I'm doing is I'm lining up his beard. And what I normally do is I start from the center, as you can see, and then I'm going back and forth. I call it the seesaw method. You're going back and forth. You look on this side and fix it, then you look on the other side and fix it. And you just say, all right, I need to do that. So now I'm putting a little hair fiber in his head just to give it a little extra pop. A little holding spray, a little blow dry action like I always say. Hit it with that line one more time for detailing. All I'm doing is detail work. All that little detail work right there, I'm just hitting it. Line it up. Doing the detail work, as you can see, flicking it out again. I see more, making sure that is right. Here we go. Voila. Haircut right, haircut tight. So as you can see the fade is blended very well. And all it is just the detail work and how hard are you willing to go to get your cuts right. Like I said, if you keep practicing, you can fade. You can do anything that you want to do if you just take your time and just put in the work. I appreciate all the subscribers, all the comments, all the notifications. But if you have not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button, and the notification bell helps out my channel. Once again, this is Sean Allen. I'm out. Peace.